Hello everyone, this is Kurt and this is Studio Lucano and we are here at Arri, China. And our goal tonight is to answer all your questions. So one of the questions was...
What inspired the name of Trinity?
What inspired the name of Trinity? Trinity stands for a concept that you need three things come together to become a bigger thing. And the reason I choose the word Trinity is because the base of the product is a standard Artemis stabilizer. On top, we put the second component. It's a hybrid stabilized head. And the third component to make all this perfectly working is a skilled operator. Which also brings us right away to your second question.
Yes.
The second question is, do you need to be a Steadicam operator to be able to operate a Steadicam? And the answer is yes. Because you need the skill, you need the experience of a Steadicam operator. The other thing you need the body of a trained operator, because using Trinity is for sure different than operating a Steadicam.
I mean, do you think it's going to be impossible for someone who never used a Steadicam before to become a Trinity operator?
No, it's not impossible, but it's a kind of a side approach.
It would be a long take to arrive to the result.
Longer take. So I would really say, if you really want to get into this, even as a beginner, you should come to us. We do a workshop with you, and we start with you as a regular Steadicam operator, and then maybe a year later, when you feel your body getting there, the muscles are grown up, then we go the next step.
Well, that's one of the questions. Like, what is the difference between Steadicam operator and Trinity operator?
I think from the physics side, it is when you operate a Steadicam, you're tending to pull the rig closer to the body. While when
we can show.
We can show, but in the moment you're operating the Trinity, you will operate a bit more away from the body, so you need more muscles.
So normally with the Steadicam, you keep the Steadicam close to your body. And this helps you with the weight to control the Steadicam. But with the Trinity, to do the trick of the Trinity effect going low and high mode, you keep the camera a little bit far away from you. And this helps you to do the movement. But in the same way, gets a little bit heavier.
So what we're talking about is you need a little bit more muscles at the back. So that's the reason you have to do minimum a year of regular operating just to build up your back to be powerful enough then to do the next step to push the rig a bit more away from the body, to open up a bit more. Because we need the clearance. To get all these nice movements, we have to have clearance. And for this you need the physical skills.
Yeah. Something about the Trinity that they're asking is this little guy, the pendulum.
Oh yeah, the clever part, the most clever part about the thing. Because what every Steadicam operator wants to have a thing what we call drop down. That means you can feel that the rig is willing to become straight by itself. Now what is not easy, because once the camera's up there, and a second later the camera is down there. So the pendulum helps us to shift weight up and down. So when he wants to have the camera lower, the pendulum is moving the rig by itself into the straight low position. Now the camera is a little bit more heavy. When Junior brings it back, you see the pendulum is going
You can come this way, so you can follow the pendulum. Yeah.
So now the pendulum and the weight, which is, by the way, 700 grams, are more far away from the gimbal. That means now the pendulum makes this section weighs heavier than the camera. That's the reason why the rig is traveling nearly on its own. You can take away the hand and the rig is just traveling, because the pendulum is pulling and pushing the rig always to the other side. Now coming back to the question is why it's helpful to be a Steadicam operator.
Yes.
Again, it's all about experience, because with the Trinity you can do very complex arrangements. You can do long walking, you can do really complex movements. It means you have to be a kind of a cameraman to understand how to coordinate the movement, how to talk to the actor, how to talk to your lighting guys, because as more you're walking, as more angles you're showing, as more lighting you will need. It's getting a bit complex. So
you can combine. I mean, all the shots that you already know,
yeah,
with this one you can combine
that's
from
true.
all the knowledge that you have already. So that's more helpful.
Which also means when you get a little older, you have to remember all the bits and pieces. So you should be experienced enough even to remember your own
Setups, yes.
Because if you do it too complex and then you're getting lost.
Other question that is not here that just remind me is the weight of the Trinity. People are worried about how heavy it is, how's the setup, if they can carry. You need to be a big bodybuilder to carry the Trinity.
I would say no, because look, I was the first Trinity operator, and I'm one of the skinniest guy.
I'm skinny too.
You know, so size doesn't matter. Trinity is more about clever movement. You know, we don't use too much physically power. We use a lot of brain power to move as smooth as a cat, not to waste any energy. So for me, operating Trinity is something like yoga, something like Tai Chi, because you want to have a very nice fluid movement. And if you get into this thinking style, then changing from a regular Steadicam into Trinity gets easier and easier. So yoga, Tai Chi, all this is all good to become an operator. Now talking about the weight.
Yes.
The weight is different because compared to a regular Steadicam, we removed some parts. On a regular Steadicam, there would be a monitor, which is not there anymore. But on the other hand, we put something extra on top. So in the end, I would say we are about 2.5 kilos more heavy than a regular Steadicam. But in the end, we just moved the weight to other bits and pieces, because in the end, this is not a real Steadicam anymore. This is a crane. Technically, you have a little crane in your hand. You have a joystick. You can control the position of the tilt. So we can look into something. We can tilt up. We can, for example, when he does a nice low mode, he can tilt up the camera. So we have a very dynamic shot. And this is all kind of shots you can't do with a regular Steadicam. He can do a really over shoulder, so he can be really above me, which you can't do with a regular Steadicam. One of the nicest things is we can look into something. So when we make the rig horizontal.
Well, I can pass like this kind of situation.
Yeah, he can pass over the bar. He can look down the bar, so we can even look behind the bar. So this is a lot of movements and combinations you can't do with a regular Steadicam. And that was also the reason I designed this, the Trinity, because after 25 years operating a Steadicam, you're always reaching the same limits. And the idea was, I want to overcome the limits and try other and new things, and that's the reason why this product happened. The other interesting thing about the Trinity is, because it's a gimbal, it also helps you a lot. For example, if you're shooting outside, it's a windy day.
Yeah, you don't have that. You don't have to worry about the wing anymore.
Yeah, because in the old days, with a regular Steadicam and a windy day, this was a nightmare. You need a lot of people covering you, helping you to get away from the wind. So this is easier now because, again, we're having a gimbal up there. So the gimbal helps a lot. For example, the other thing you can do is you can even go sideways. You can just move the camera this way. So the Steadicam acts like a slider, so he can really start on my right side and he goes slowly to the left side, and then he will start the entire movement. That's a shot you even can't do with a regular Steadicam. And I think there's another 50 shots you can't do.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. So
the good thing that the Trinity is also new for everybody. So there is every time, at least for me, every job, the director, the DP, when they see the Trinity, they see something that I didn't saw before, like a combination of movement, and they ask me, can you try this? Let me try, and then magic happens when you are on set and say, oh, I can combine this, start with the feet, then follow that, and then, oh, something that is the whip. Something this is beautiful, something that with a Steadicam, if I want to do the 360, I have to move my
entire body.
Whole body, but this one is...
Because one of the big differences is on a regular Steadicam, the monitor is here. So when he makes a whip pan, the monitor will walk away. While on the Trinity, the monitor stays always in the same position. So whatever he does with the camera, he got always a picture. And I think this is the other great thing about the Trinity, because you can inspire the director, and the director can inspire you,
me,
because somehow suddenly they talk to you in a new way. Because in the old days they said, okay, you Steadicam, you do always the same. You go from there to there, and then you do this. But suddenly we have a new toy, we have a new tool to really rethink the entire work, the entire setup. And that's also a reason why it makes sense that you should be an experienced cameraman before you go anywhere into Steadicam or Trinity, because again, we are all cameramen. Our job is to frame a nice shot, to handle the actors in the right way, to tell the story, and make the producer happy, because we're wasting his money. So he should be as good as possible.
Don't waste money.
So never waste money, never waste any time. Time is the most expensive piece on a set. Total weight, so we had this. Do you need an assistant to balance the Trinity? Technically, no, you can do everything yourself, but yes, you should always have an assistant with you, because he will take care about you, he will take care about the equipment. But from the hardware, you can do everything yourself, but you should always have a good assistant with you, because also he will be your focus puller, and he should become your brother in the end, if possible. How long can you work with the setup? That's a very tricky question, because depends about your physic conditions. If you
Physical condition, what you need to do, set up, what camera.
Yeah, so this is a very, very tricky question, because in the end we're working the entire day. If you're on a film set, you work 8 to 12 hours every day. You're not shooting 12 hours, but you're somehow rehearsing 12 hours. You're waiting 12 hours if you're unlucky. So this is a very, very tricky question to answer. There's a question that's quite nice, is how often do you get creative with your shots and movements? And I would say the idea about a good operator is you're always creative, because that's the reason they're going to ask us to come to the set.
Well, the tool is already
creative.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and
I
it gives you already the power to do that.
So I think this is the joy to be a Trinity operator. You can be every second very creative.
You have fun.
Yeah, because the hardware is asking you to be creative. So I think that's the biggest joy. This was also the reason for me, because again, when you do 25 years always the same, it's getting kind of a boring. So it was really time to add something extra. Then someone is asking, how can I get a very good operator? And I said, well, the best thing you do is go to workshops.
Do it.
That's it, all workshops, because like the workshop we do in a moment here at Arri, China, we have all experienced cameramen and operators with us, and we also exchanging experience. We can learn from each other, because everyone is already long enough in the business. And also we offer basic workshops for Trinity operators, so we can really help you from zero to make your entire development with us and with the product. And we for sure can help you to get into the industry and stay in the industry, because staying is harder than to get in.
To get in this.
And this is all about good education, and to offer a good job to your producer and your cameraman. So we talked about the muscles. So most of the muscles we need are really the muscles in the back, because we have to open up. Of course, you need a lot of good muscles in your legs. You don't need any muscles in your arm. Look, my arm is really mini, so this is not an issue.
Yeah, everything is here. It's connected here, so.
There's maybe another interesting point, because people will ask what kind of a camera you can use in a Trinity. We can use a lot of cameras. We can even use 416 film cameras. We can use the 235 film camera. We can go up to the Alexa LF. So this is not the issue. But for me personally, the nicest setup is something like the Mini or the Mini LF, because this allows the rig to stay light wide. And as long as the rig is light wide, I can do very fast movement. And I think this is also
and you can perform longer also.
And you can perform longer, by the way. But I think to have fast movements, this is really interesting if you do music videos, action scene, running behind someone. Of course, a lighter rig allows you to run fast and to do more crazy fast movements. So, but we also shot, or he shot the first video
With the left.
with the LF in Thailand, and so he knows what it means to use this camera, which is possible. But this is a bit more fun in the end.
Yes, you can do, like you say, you become faster, you can do longer shots. So I don't think the Trinity will have any problem to carry any camera. It's all about your performance, like your body, how long you can take with that weight.
Yeah, because the hardware is very open for a lot of cameras. So this is not the limitation. The limitation in the end is your physical condition, the set, and other aspects while the shooting, but not the hardware. The hardware is very, very flexible. And even the people designing the hardware is very, very flexible. So we're listening carefully to your needs, and we improve the product, and we're adding more accessories and special solutions to make even the setup super fast. Like for the cameras, for the Mini, we have a special dovetail plate. For the Alexa, we have a special dovetail plate. So this plate immediately will lift the camera right in the center of the ring. So while the setup and the balancing, you don't have to worry at all about the height, because it's already adjusted by purpose if you use the right accessories.
Sure.
Because that's another part of the design. We try to make the setup as simple and as fast as possible, because again, there is no time on any set. So everyone is asking you to be faster and faster. And that's why we make so many hardware bits and pieces to ensure you can set this thing up in less than 15 minutes.
Something maybe that talk about fast that they were asking is like, I don't think Trinity could replace any other equipment. Like when they say, oh, it will replace dolly or something like that, I don't think it will happen that, but it helps you to be fast in many situations compared with other equipments.
I would even go the other step. For example, it's a good additional. For example, what you can do is you have a crane shot coming from a super wide shot down, and then you cut right away into the Trinity, and the Trinity will get the same shot, extend the shot off the crane, and the Trinity will guide you into the house. So I think combining existing
you become
solutions.
an extra tool that it will help everybody instead to be a competitor or enemy.
No, I don't see it this way. But the only thing what I really see is, on the other hand, we can offer the director very fast, a lot of shots.
Yes.
Which normally you would first need to bring the dolly in to have a kind of an idea what the shot could look like. And we can do this in milliseconds. We can show him what's about this angle, what's about this position. So I think for the director, it's a very good additional device to make up his mind. And I have to say, I think we're pretty good.
Cover.
Yeah, I think so, because we just want to make sure it's not going to take too long to watch this video. And
there was many questions repeating themselves, so it was a little bit tricky to organize everything. But I think the main question, it was all answered about the Trinity setup.
And if not, let us know. We do another video. That's about this, right? Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's try it.